Hey, what's up, solar family? It's James here. Hopefully you're doing amazing. In this video, I want to go over the most common objection that you're going to get out in the field, which is, hey man, this sounds great, but this is just way too expensive, right? So that's one of the most common objections you get in the field. But before I dive into it, if you haven't scheduled your solar strategy call yet, make sure you do that, especially if you're new in the industry or you want to get in the industry. Make sure you book your call. There's gonna be a pop-up somewhere around this video. Click the pop-up and book your solar strategy call. And at the end of the video, I'm gonna give you a special offer where you can get access to all the objections that may come up during your consultation. And I'm gonna give you that absolutely free, but just wait till the end of this video and I'll show you how to get access to that. So not knowing how to properly handle objections can break a deal, right? So my first tip for you, if you don't know how to handle any objection, not just this objection, but any objection, just let the homeowner know that that's great, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Let me get back to you, right? That would be my first tip to you. Just let the homeowner know, let me get back to you. So what you can do is you can write their objection or their question down on your notebook, and after your consultation, you can call your manager up, right? And give the homeowner the right answer, because you don't want to BS the homeowner, because that can backfire on you big time, right? So be careful, never ever BS a homeowner. If you don't know the answer, the best thing that you can do is just let the homeowner know, hey, Mr. and Ms. Smith, that's a great question. I don't know it, but I'm gonna write it down and I'm gonna get an answer for you, right? And make sure that you actually get an answer for the homeowner. So the second tip for you is to make sure you use the 3 F's, right? And I'm not gonna go over this in this video, but you can find it in my other videos, is how to handle objections, right? Using the 3 F's. The feel, felt, found. You can actually just search my other videos. I made a video specifically how to use the 3 F's. So before you answer any objections, make sure you do that, right? So in particular, for this particular objection that comes up, right? Usually this comes up after you show them the numbers. They're gonna say, hey man, sounds great, but it's just way too expensive. The first thing that you need to look at is how much value did you provide the homeowner? Because if you can stack the value, right, during your consultation before you actually show the homeowner the numbers, then it becomes more a no-brainer, right? And I hear this all the time in this industry that, oh, I don't need any training, this is a no-brainer. Yes, it becomes a no-brainer after you educated the homeowner and not before then, right? Does that make sense? Because a lot of people say, oh, this is no-brainer, they should move forward, right? This is a no-brainer. And obviously what happens is they don't close deals. And it becomes a no-brainer after you have a great presentation and after you educate the homeowner. So the first thing to this particular objection is you need to understand is if this comes up, right, when you show them the numbers, just keep in mind that you haven't given enough value yet. And there's another video I've created as well. If you could search in the search bar, you know, how to create value. That's going to show you how to actually create value during your consultation, right? Because if you could stack the value, right? Just like if you bought a, Lamborghini or whatnot, right? And it does the same exact thing as a Toyota Corolla, right? It gets you to point A to point B, but there's value stacked on top of that Lamborghini. Why people actually buy, such an expensive car or whatnot, right? But keep in mind, the first thing that you need to understand is if this objection keeps coming up, you're just not giving enough value, right? And the way I would answer this objection, right? Say for example, you stacked it up, you gave as much value as you can, and this objection still comes up. The first thing you need to ask the homeowner is, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, how long have you been buying electricity, right? And what I suggest and what I tell all my students is to break it down with the homeowner, right? Show them the numbers. Say for example, right? Say for example, so I want you to calculate it. Say for example, the solar system, the total value or the cost of the system is $20,000. $20,000, right? So when you ask the homeowner, hey, Mr. Smith, how long have you been buying electricity for? They're gonna say, you know what, I've been buying electricity for over 20 years, right? And I need you to break this down and write it down on a piece of paper and bust out your calculator and calculate it for them so they can see it. And keep in mind, this is the value, right? That's their concern. It's expensive, it's $20,000. So if you've been buying electricity for the last 20 years, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, what was your average bill? And they're gonna say something along the lines of 150, 200 bucks, whatever it is. But just to keep this simple, say it's $200, right? 200 bucks a month. And what I need you to do in front of the homeowner is to calculate this. So basically, 200 times 12 is, sorry, I don't have my calculator with me, so I gotta do it the old-fashioned way. And keep in mind that I'm not the best at math, is $2,400. That's how much they spend on electricity every single year with the local utility company, right? $2,400. So $2,400 times 20, that's $48,000. So as you can see, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you've already spent $48,000 with the local utility company, right? And if you went solar 20 years ago, guess what? You could have already bought 2 systems for your home. Your energy would have been absolutely free at this point, right? Because it's already been all paid off. And now it's an asset to your home. It increases property value, right? And now you have the ability to actually have a free energy bill if you decided 20 years ago to buy electricity. So, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you've already paid $48,000 with the local utility company. And let me ask you this, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, what value have they given you? Have they called you after 20 years and said, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you've already paid 20 years for your electric bill. Now the energy bill here on forward is free to you. Have they done that? Right? Sometimes you have to show the homeowners the calculation, the numbers, and how much they've already spent, right? And another way to do this, right? Let me show you another way. Hopefully that makes sense, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Just break it down for the homeowner, right? Break it down. And another way to do this is, even if the system costs $20,000, with the local utility company, say for example, they're paying $200 a month, right? And this is on your proposal. With solar, it's $150, right? I would say something along the lines of, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, if we can go back, you know, when you bought the home, you know, 10 years ago, for example, if you had a choice on your electric company, right, and the cost of your electricity 20 years ago, would you have rather paid $200 a month or $150 a month? And if you decide with $150 a month, you can lock in your rate. This never goes up ever again. This increases your property value, right? Which one would you choose? And it makes it so much more simple for the homeowner to understand that in their mind, right? Because as far as solar, for us, we know the value, right? And sometimes during our consultation, maybe we're not able to communicate the total value of the system. But if you can break it down in a granular level, if you could just make it super simple and show these kind of numbers to the homeowner, there's gonna be a light bulb moment when they're gonna say, shit, you know what? That makes total sense, right? That makes total sense. So hopefully that makes sense. So at the beginning of the video, I told you I was gonna give you a special offer. You can actually download my course. I normally sell it for 99 bucks, but I'm gonna give it to you absolutely free. The only thing I ask you to take care of the processing fee, it's only $4.97. And I break down all the objections that you can possibly have during your consultation, right? There's gonna be a link somewhere underneath the description. Click that link, you know, pay the $4.97 processing fee, and it's all yours, right? It's all yours. Other than that, hopefully that makes sense to you. And again, it's super important that you know how to handle objections, and you also watch these other videos on, you know, the 3 F's and also how to stack the value. So when objections come around, right? When the homeowner has an objection, you know how to handle that objection. So if you want to dive in deeper, maybe you need help with your sales presentation. Maybe you want to close all your deals online, right? Like I've been doing over the last 7 years. Make sure you book your solar strategy call. It's gonna be a pop-up somewhere around this video. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, make sure you click subscribe and also click the like button so this video gets shared to all of our solar family. Other than that, have an amazing day. Goodbye for now. Peace.